Good morning from New York. Today's topic: how many inner selves do we have? Argumentative, drama, comical, or good? Hyping the hype in politics. Well, I have to look back at my notes every now and then, which is 3 sentences. I should write that on my hand. Anyway, yeah, every perspective in you is a new self. Well, right. Yeah, it's and in reality, if you split the hemispheres of the brain, you can have conflicting personalities. So, in terms of a personality, yeah, you probably have a number of different personalities based on the input that you're considering, being considered. It's like you're we have an illusory inner self, really, but it's important to have that congeal into something that people around you can relate to and know what to expect from. And so you've got a lot of the times, you want to have the same presentation, you know. So that kind of gets in the way if you're going to be talking to somebody with a different perspective. Maybe you share some of their perspective, but you got to go with the hype. You got to go with, hey, that's not me. You know, and just who are you? Sometimes we're a little too certain, and that can get into some problems. So, oh, I believe this and I believe that. I can't believe this other thing. It conflicts. It's those conflicts that might be enlightening. Maybe the whole picture's wrong there. So, that's you saw somebody, you know, voicing these an inner argument. You would say, "Oh, that's comical, crazy." I think we should do this. No, no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't do that because of this. Well, what about because of this? You get back and forth and not just talking to yourself, in public, but talking back and forth. Well, in your imagination, you do that anyway. You have different perspectives being presented in your dreams, and you have decision making that's going on, and you're considering the different factors and things. But you've always got the hype. You've always got this thing that is you that you're clinging on to, and that's a lot of drama. You know, I can't change. Oh, what will happen? Well, if you're too attached to a self-image, it's not really good. And the best thing in terms of communicating with people who are different than you, have a different opinion, and everybody goes to their hype. I'll say this, and I kind of disagree with my party on this, but got to fall in line. Yeah, you got to fall in line. Why? Like the apes do. You know, there'll be one tribe. They'll split into two tribes, and and they're cousins, or something, and closer and friends, but they get separated, and they have, one big strong ape decides he wants some of the territory of his former family, and so he decides he's going to take that, and the other side gets together and says, "No, you won't." And so then, all of the little people who really don't have a dog in the race necessarily, probably pretty happy where they are, will follow the big ape because he's strong. He doesn't need anybody, and so I trust him. He doesn't. What does he need? He's got everything. Sounds like arguments for Trump, doesn't it? Anyway, but the hype of the individual leads every other person. Oh, so the apes have war? Yeah, they do. The chimps and so on. They have a big brutal kind of thing going on there. Aiming, killing, carrying on. Well, I think we need to grow out of that. As human apes, I think we can do a little better than that. Educating the young to be more independent minded and to understand their own brain, how it functions, and how they really aren't just this single person. That's your brand. Okay, you don't have to stick with that brand. You can alter the brand a little bit. You can adapt your brand to meet circumstances, and that has a survival flavor to it. So I mean, there's motivation there you could easily tap into, and it means that well, you're not so attached to the drama and the hype. You just see people arguing crazily. I had my grandfather Tommy. He said that when he was a kid, he would hear the hardshell Baptists, what they called them, and the Campbellites, the Church of Christ people called this guy named Campbell, so they called them Campbellites, labeling other people, right? But they would argue into the deep of the night whether someone they both agreed that you had to go down completely under the water and hopefully not drown and not kicking and screaming, or something, that an unwillingness. Of course, some people are scared of water, different reasons. Maybe they almost drowned once, but oops, you have to go down. So, they agreed on that, but they thought that one of them thought, well, it was a look towards salvation. And and so you were kind of in process, and you were saved at the moment of the dunking. Mm-hmm. The other side said, well, no, sorry, you're already saved, and you're getting dunked because it's the thing to do. Yeah, it was. Then they sing songs, washing away your sins. Yeah, it's like being obsessed with water is the easy thing to do, really. But they were following the hype, and it's, if anybody started to question anything, that expand maybe some agreement, like what in the world is like with questions, what in the world is salvation anyway? What does this mean? Does a person really change? Well, of course, something that was commonly expressed amongst my wiser Southern relatives was stated this way: when the dunking didn't work, they said, well, he went down a dry devil and he came up a wet. Yeah, maybe that's what everybody was doing, just getting wet. Yeah, but some people, it's like, oh, I saw the light. Yeah, seeing the light. Yeah, that's heard that before. Yeah, they saw the light. I don't mean that anything really changed. That was reminds me of seeing the light. There was a bunch of kids together, and we were all praying, and so suddenly all the kids go, I saw Jesus. I saw Jesus. Yeah, I saw a light. And then one child was raised a hand like we were down in the basement. It was dark. And there was curtains. So I moved the curtain. There was dead silence after that. Nobody was quite so sure they'd seen Jesus. And when you follow the hype, then you can believe anything. Like you can't change, or that you really are that brand that you put on yourself. And so then the people get together and argue about which brand is the best brand. Kind of lose sight of common problems and the best way to go about fixing them. But it should be done this way. It should be done the other way. And sometimes it might need both, or a mixture of the two approaches. And of course, you got to understand that people are in their comfort zones, and some people really love the hype. They like to move people out of their comfort zones. It's a kind of insensitive kind of thing. It's like, not a slow process, just right now. So yeah, they like to stir the pot, kind of. Hey, God bless them, so to speak. Yeah, bless them, because we need a lot of pot stirrers, but it can be meaningless kinds of hype, and struggle created, and language is a big part of that. Language can be deceiving. If you say something in a very pleasant way, then people tend to think it's caring. Like, love the sinner, hate the sin. If you say that really sweetly, and it sounds like love, then, well, I hate this part of you that I call a sin. You cuss, You cuss. You cuss. You should. You take my God's name and blame in vain. And of course, they can make great hay out of making fun of somebody else's God and get all carried away with it. You know. Ooh. But it's like they stir in it, don't they? They see a conflict and they just love it. They just love it. They want you to be all involved in the conflict. Of course, you got to go on their side. And usually, it's a thing where there are two sides. Well, maybe somebody comes into the discussion and they have a third side. And of course, all your inner selves might be arguing. But when it becomes really conflicting and it's disturbing for no purpose, that's just hype. And making things important that really aren't. And it can be an argument. How important is the argument in the first place? Is there something else we need to be paying attention to? It's like a lot of people are all hyped up in their opinion of LGBTQ. What is that to anybody else other than them? Whatever, and are you sure you're not part of that? I mean, those letters go on forever. Probably all of you, some kind of letter. So, I mean, really, you're going to get that upset about it? That's people who deviate significantly from what you think is the norm. Another question. That it's like 1% of the people. And what about feeding all the children? Making sure they're taken care of, making sure you take care of women. Abortions go down when, women are well taken care of and suffering tolerable poverty like that. They have, it doesn't go up, it goes down. And so the punishing attitude, which is really part of hype, unless you want to punish somebody, it's the hype kind of, it loses its energy. So you looking at things in a punishing way, getting all excited about something, and really, love is the answer. Nine times out of 10, and probably more, love is the answer. And I mean, you can't. When Hitler's marching and the troops are coming at you, you can't. You're already caught up in the madness. It's already gone too far. Kind of like a insanity. You have to fight back. Yeah, unfortunately. If you're in the ape group that gets attacked, you get pulled into it. There's nothing you can do except fight back. Well, that's not very loving. But in a narrow sense, it's loving yourself and your tribe, your area you associate yourself with. I think it's really great that people are moving around a lot and immigrating here and there. They'll give up this idea that they belong to this spot on the earth and have to follow the hype of whatever religion or nationality that spot is dominated. Really, just let go of that, please. I have a big problems with immigration and nowadays. And, why? Everybody's immigrated. Everybody's moved. Human beings move around. That's a natural thing. People move around. They move where there's resources, where they can survive better. If there's no big problem, I mean, why is that a problem? Share, work things out, create a better world. You can do that, or you can be hateful. Put up razor wire along your borders of this place that's yours, but that you identify as one of your inner selves. I'm an American. Well, technically, everybody in North and South America are, right? I mean, if you're going to attach them to a place. We're all earthlings, okay? All of us. And one day we won't be that either. Might be Martians one day. It'll be a long way off. We better fix things here first. About your priority. You want to get rid of hype, look at the real priority. Look at what makes sense. You want fewer abortions. Take care of children and women, and pregnant ladies. Sure that you give them all the care that they need, and then you don't have all this hype about when they get an abortion, when it's okay, and everything. Let the mother in the physician decide that. It's this control, fight to control, is a lot of hype, really. I wouldn't want to be in control of the world. Calamity. I think just let the world do its thing. And don't, getting involved with the hype is just kind of silly. I told you that I'm dense. I'll get back to my notes. What did I say? How many inner selves? How many? That's just kind of sort of comic relief thing. Argumentative drama, comical. Yeah, kind of covered that. The hype in politics. Well, the hype in politics is I'm well, every now and then we peak up above the hype, and kind of try to bring people together, and sometimes in a limited spot, but and because Barack Obama says we're not a red state and a blue state, we're a United States, something like that. Well, we're not a Canadian and a Mexican and a U.S. American, and a Peruvian and a Chinaman and China person, Japanese, whatever. we're one. We're well, hopefully, we're one united Earth. We're one united human family, and there is some union there, even though there's all this conflict. And I think when you get rid of the hype, you just take a look at basic realities. Can you look at any baby? I mean, if you take mine, you look at any baby or child that you love. You're gonna not love a child that has a different skin tone than yours, or I mean, really? What's a you get a basket full of puppies or kittens or whatever, and they all look alike. It's not quite as cute, is it? Really? I mean, variety adds to the cuteness, doesn't it? And the beauty of a garden. Just one flower, fields and fields, and red or yellow. Well, wouldn't it be more beautiful to have more? Isn't the rainbow beautiful because it has different, wavelengths of light there going on? So, yeah. So that's really silly. That we try to bring people together and we try to do more healing things instead of punishing things when we say save the children. But this one group was trying to help out kids, and I gave a donation. I found out they were spending some of the money on their religion. That they were even using money I gave them, not just to help the kids, but how much they were helping. But to spread their version of Christianity in a place that was already Christian with another stripe, and I think they were pushing their Protestant religion in the Catholic way. Really, and that isn't hardly looking at the whole spectrum of religion. It's like, geez, you look a lot alike. What? So, I call him up on the phone. I said, well, listen, I'm going to give my donation somewhere else. And, it's like, they said, well, all right. Then they call me back, and they have the sounds of crying children compared to drama. Those suffering children, Yeah, 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 yeah. There's, pushing their hype, their particular perspective on other people whose perspective really isn't even that different, come on. How important is that particular point of view? How important is any point of view? And then the more you're into language, well, right away, that puts you into a kind of hype, into a kind of identity that you don't even think about. It's kind of interesting that I noticed that when I was dating, that if I was dating somebody and they had a different language, that was their native tongue was different, and the way they spoke English was reminded me of a child, so I thought that was really cute. Till I tried to speak Spanish, and the other person would think I was cute. didn't speak it correctly. Well, it's still two adults there. you know, but it's kind of funny how language can twist how you see things, and and further the hype. You can say things in a way that is softer, or you know, and some some language is more poetic and flowing, and other languages more more blunt. I think a little different. I'd say that one's better than the other, but I think it affects the mood of the person. So hype doesn't help us come together. The children, and loving children, it kind of brings most people together. Yeah, protecting them, and but the hype says it's okay to keep bombing Gaza. You understand these conflicts. I want to end the people. Well, a lot of times, just like the apes, it's like the ones who are running the show, leading the people, are not the people. Reach out to the people. Go in armed and protected, and do good things. And then maybe the people will go, there's this guy in the basement, and he's one of the guys who bombed you. But then again, you have to kill him. you know, I've heard re-education, an alternative, and it usually has these this hype involved where you're re-educating them to think like you do. But how about mental healing? Getting the trauma out of the person's life so that they can, PTSD, complex PTSD, help them with that so that they're not so easily triggered, and they're not confusing real need with symbolic need, is greed and power mongering. Yeah, the hope dope. The hope dope is something that goes right along with the hype, And, hope that really isn't realistic. It's just makes you feel better because it reaffirms that I am me. There's a comfort in that's can be a problem where you are too attached to this social concept of that says you are this name, you are this person who was born here instead of there. Uh, really, you are this person who has a different ear shape. You're one of them big-eared people like me, or maybe big-nosed people. Or it's really critical. I've heard funny things said about skin tone, and heard the people are kind of in the middle between the lighter and darker shades. They say, well, the people in the lighter shades and the darker shades are trying to be like us, with it, trying to be either lighter or darker than they were born. Yeah, okay, whatever. So Hmm. Yeah, it's, your perceptions can change a great deal. And prejudices, you know, part of the crazy hype that goes on. The comfort from mm, point of view that is really too static. And well, how do you get rid of it? Let's just talk about that for a minute. You know, you go into the infant mind, you drop down to where there is no self concept, and you're going, hey, I'm still here. Um, Whatever it is still living. It didn't die. There's some people that are scared of that, they're so attached to their hyped up idea of who they are that the idea of meditation, really? Hmm? It shouldn't scare you. Come on. Well, that's why, if you're going to get rid of the hype, you got to be gentle. You find things that are comforting, but which work against some of the illusions. You know, that means taking different perspectives, different comforting points of view, and that would take you out of your comfortable, hyped up sense of self that can feel so threatened. When you lose an argument, you didn't lose your mind. When you change your belief, you didn't change. You're still here. You're still alive. You know, beliefs shouldn't rule your life. Now, there's facts, things that tend to predict things in the past and the future that are very useful, and that is true to the point there that is useful. But clinging blindly to any perspective as if it is the absolute truth is just a lot of how would you know? You know, we have a very limited human brain, and it's seemed to be designed more to keep our species going than it is to aim us toward uh, hmm, some of the things we call ideal. There's a lot of worshiping of the past is usually involved because the past is worshiping the past is all about buying the hype that that was me, and the same person that was me when I was 5, the same person I am today at 65. No, you're not. Not the same person. Oh, very different person. Yeah. That's that's one of the teachings in Buddhism that kind of makes a little bit of sense that there isn't a unchanging self that soul goes through everything. Well, you can argue there's something like that we don't know what it is. The Hindu idea is it's a very tiny thing. You can't see it. It's very tiny. This it doesn't change. Well, how significant is it if it's this little point that's going through? None of the things that you call personality would be contained in that. Would it really? Because your personality can be changed with a bump on the head, with a split brain operation, stroke. Really? No. Tiny little soul. Tiny little mind. Leaving tiny little soul. Yeah. Expand your mind. Look at things from more different perspectives. And are there many inner selves? Well, yeah, kind of. And yet, you're an organism that has survived over a period of time. So there's some consistency, you know. And people don't change outside of their comfort zones very easily. They tend to feel threatened and fall back on the particular hype that guides their lives, and they feel threatened. And that's what we're seeing today. Seeing, the MAGA people worshiping the past. They're all about the drama. I think in this next election, people are getting tired of the drama that Trump is stirring. The rigidity of belief systems. This nonsense. They want to be a Christian, Christian nationalism. They want to be a Christian. Really? You can't allow any other religion. Just yours. Well, I have to remind them that just as there was this really silly argument that my grandfather Tommy heard, there was violence. Because when they first came over to this country from Europe, and stole land, they that was okay because their hype's better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so they came over and they were welcomed for a while. So people kind of go, no, wait, well, hold on. You can't just rob and steal. And then, and not you can commingle, but the Native Americans are very, amazingly welcoming at first. Yeah, like, oh, hey, how are you? Who are you? Uh-oh. But see, all these religions were coming over here because they were running from persecution from other Christian groups, right? So they're coming over to this country, and they try to establish their own little Christian nationalism in this spot and this spot and that spot, different kinds. And they were killing each other over the water baptism, whether you should baptize a baby, whether you get dunked, whether you just sprinkle some water. Yeah. To get to this elusive thing called salvation. Really? Yeah. There's a bumper sticker I saw that says, God, Jesus saved me from your followers. That could be applied to any religion. Save me from your followers. Pushy, pushy, pushy. We don't need any of that. Respect people's comfort zone, but try to find some common ground and try to work on integration, a number of different selves, and be open to change. And don't be glued to all of the people who reaffirm exactly what you think. Reach out to somebody who disagrees. Find some common ground. Don't be hateful. Don't be fearful. Because if you're going to do that, then how much better is that than babes in the midst of their own psychotic turmoils and war? Yeah. Are we different? Well, I could hope we could be a little different. And Israel quit dropping the bombs, not far away. Send your troops in to do good shit, okay? Sorry. Just do it. Sorry for the French. And that was the French word. Sound like a politician there for a minute. Mistakes were made. Yeah. Anyway. So, rehashing. How many inner selves do we have? Who knows? Who cares? Argumentative, drama, comical, or good? Well, it can be quite comical, but that could be good. And and it isn't going to be too violent unless you buy the hype. Hyping in politics. Hyping in politics. Be a little flexible. Let's look at common goals, find common ground, get the hype, and forget the rigidity of who you think you are and how important your brand is. Yeah, we're all human. Yeah, and we're all part of the tapestry of life. Let's live like that. Yeah. Don't believe the hype. And the hype is very much attached to the idea that you are the singular, unchanging self that was the same when you were 5 and will be the same when you're my age and even with Alzheimer's. Well, maybe Alzheimer's will be more like I was 5 again. I don't know. But you change. You're different. And everybody deserves it. Okay? Love is the point. Love is the answer. Love is respecting, comfort zones, but working on finding common ground and a common comfort zone. And as you do, guess what? You become more virtuous. You work. You get better at meeting human need, which is social circumstances, is forms of empathy. You're using creativity, which looks at things from different perspectives, trying to be a different person sometimes, and looking at things objectively, trying to look at cause and effect, and caring way, and an empathy and a caring that is compassionate, which encourages people to be able to express their deepest needs and feelings. A bit of intimacy. And from passion, goodness, from objectivity, truth, and from creativity, artfulness. A way to really appreciate life in all of its diversity, even the diversity that is you. So, as I like to do at the end of my presentations, I like to sing to a tune that I made up now. There's no copyright. Too free to use it. I say so. And it's an old Irish blessing, so no copyrights. All right? And I want to give that blessing to you. Yes, help us all feel good. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, or its hand, however you want to humanize the absolute truth. Anyway, and I like to top that off with a mention of the word namaste, in honoring of the potential love flow in all of us, the common ground and identification with the universe that we all have part of it, and and the fabric that we're just a part of. So there really isn't a stark difference between you and I. Not in this space. Space beyond words, beyond all the hype. This space where we're all part of the fabric of life. That word is namaste. It's an honoring of that. That perspective in me. That perspective that you can have too. And what's real about it? Brighter minds might have to talk about that. So make a great day today. And namaste.